Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this walkthrough, the Mystical Healing Reading Cards by Inna Segal. This is a Rockpool publishing deck that they sent me, actually. Rockpool sent me for review. Thank you so much to you guys. I really appreciate it. This is one that really caught my attention, and I am also going to make sure to link below another walkthrough that I saw that really captured my attention when it comes to this deck. I was really excited to see it, and I have a whole bunch of reasons why that I'm going to dive into. But first off, a little bit about the deck. So the Mystical Healing Reading Cards by Inna Segal are illustrated by Jake Badley, or Badley, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Healing everything from fear and anxiety to ancestral patterns and karma, this deck will be one of the most profound and life-changing you have ever encountered. Propel yourself into your inner life of feelings, soul wisdom, and spiritual evolution with this mystical card deck. Each card's evocative image offers you profound knowledge of self and spirit combined with practical guidance and tools for transformation. You will find yourself more aware, more resilient, and more able to tackle challenges and embrace opportunities. And then it says below here, Inna Segal is a best-selling, award-winning author and a pioneer in the fields of healing, energy medicine, and spiritual evolution. So I'll tell you right off the bat, the number one reason this deck caught my undivided attention is because Inna Segal is the creator of another deck that I had for a long time, actually. Well, I shouldn't say I had it for a long time. I guess I had it for about 2 years, maybe a little less, called the Heal Yourself Reading Cards. And I have talked incredibly positively about that deck. I found it incredibly useful from a shadow work or healing personal transformation perspective. An excellent deck for personal growth work. But ultimately, I ended up rehoming that deck despite finding it to be very, very useful because the artwork just didn't resonate with me. It had a kind of body beautiful, almost romance novel cover aesthetic to it that kept distracting me from the messages of the cards. So when I saw that Inna Segal, and that guidebook for Heal Yourself Reading Cards is absolutely incredible. If you enjoy the artwork, that deck is also very worth picking up. The issue that I had, as I said, is that the artwork was a distraction from the work I was trying to do with the deck. But Inna Segal's guidebook and her creation in general was so well thought out with really tangible actions you could take for every card and every concept that she introduced. And I really appreciated that about that deck. So when I saw that she put out another deck and it had similarly that personal growth, healing kind of vibe to it, but with different artwork that goes a totally different direction, I was so excited, you guys. And I actually don't think, I could be wrong because I don't have the Heal Yourself Reading Cards in my collection any longer, but I don't think there are duplicate cards. I don't think this is a remake of that deck in any way. I think this is a second deck. I just find that I'm just really excited. Just really excited, you guys. So it has a really beautiful magnetic cover. Rockpool always knocks it out of the park with the quality of what they put out. I really, really enjoy their products in general. So I'm really excited that I'm getting a chance to review this deck. So the Mystical Healing Reading Card Guidebook, this is the exact same kind of format as far as the type of box, the size of the book, the size of the cards, as the Heal Yourself Reading Cards were. So I'm really excited. I feel like this is going to be really good. We're going to dive into the guidebook after we look at the cards because I know some of us are really anxious to get into the cards. Can we talk for a moment just about the backdrop that I chose for this video, this beautiful cloth that Peggy has in her stash, and these card backs? Like, it practically blends. It's going to make our final photo for this deck a little challenging because there's going to be like no contrast, but look how beautifully it matches. I was so excited when I saw that Peggy had this cloth because it's got this like kind of botanical drawing, kind of parchmenty feel. And if you look at the back of the Heal Yourself Reading Cards, they also have that sort of parchment, almost like there was a manuscript, and these are like pages from that manuscript. It's a really cool feel. And look at this with the cloth. It like blends right in. Oh my God, I'm so pleased. I love matching things. If you don't know that I love matching things, I love matching things. All right. So I love the backs of these cards. They are glossy, and they've got a good flex, but they don't feel overly thin. Let's dive in. So again, in case I didn't mention, I don't think I mentioned it by name, but I originally became aware of this deck through Dawn Michelle at Boho Tarot's channel. If you haven't seen her exploring this deck, you should. I will link that down below or up in the cards so you can take a look at her video as well. Dawn Michelle and I tend to have very similar taste in decks a lot of times. Not always, but definitely a lot. Enough that we make terrible trading partners. Trust me, we've tried. So I was really excited when she walked through this deck. It's okay. Anyways, I'm going to stop gushing. We're going to zoom in and take a look at the cards. Okay. Let's bring them down a bit. Perfect. So here we have access clear thinking. And we have this ball of yarn and this maze in the background and then a labyrinth up here. And this makes me think of, I think it's is it Ariadne's story? Oh, somebody's going to kick me or yell at me. I always say that. Somebody's yelling at their screen right now. But actually, there's a story about, oh gosh, going into a maze and the gift of the spool of thread. I'm sure it was Ariadne. And who was going into the maze? It was like a centaur. Oh gosh, it's like a Greek myth. Oh, I can picture the myth even in my head, if that makes any sense. In any case, that's what this makes me think of. When we're going into, it's like we're holding the thread, or the ball of yarn becomes our access to the concrete, right? It becomes our access to our deeper truth, so that we don't lose our way when we're working our way into the labyrinth of our own self-worth and our own personal growth work. And you guys know the labyrinth is a very meaningful symbol for me. It is what symbolically inspired my book, The Self-Worth Path, which also features a labyrinth on its cover, for that very reason, because I feel like healing work and self-worth work is a very much a journey inward, a spiral inward, and then a spiral back outward. And so this idea of having access to this sort of anchor to hold on to that piece of what is clear and what is factual and what is known when you dive deep into the self, this just is such a meaningful image to me. And we'll see what the guidebook says about that, but it speaks to me very clearly, which is very exciting because I didn't actually have the same experience with other decks that try to do the same kind of work. So anyways, okay, I'm gushing. This is going to be 1,000,000 hours long. Oh, okay. Assimilate life experience. This is really cool. So we see this figure sort of walking forward, and he's all kind of dressed up in a way. Like he's got a mask. He's got this like almost like he's going to go perform on stage in a way. But behind him, there's somebody else who's doing something similar. I almost get this feeling like his past is chasing him. So when it says assimilate life experience, what I'm getting from that is like, don't let your past have you on the run, right? Like actually acknowledge it, turn around and face it. Yeah, I'm just getting a lot intuitively from the image. It's really cool. Awaken your vulnerability. Ooh. Okay, first of all, you guys know this title is everything. Awaken your vulnerability. Vulnerability is such a source of power and strength for so many people. Again, something I talk about a lot in the Self-Worth Path. And I don't mean to keep bringing that up, but I get really excited when a deck is speaking that speak, because it means it's speaking to me. Because of course I wrote that, for me as a I guess a way to keep track of my own life experience, and seeing the way that these are, seeing the way these are aligning. It's just got me excited. So here, this person, it looks like almost like a magic show where somebody's being sawed in half. I'm really excited to see what the guidebook says about all these images, but I definitely get the feeling of sort of somebody being more exposed or being picked apart by the people around them. There's this element of putting yourself on display, or putting yourself in a position to potentially be judged, is really a courageous thing and a powerful thing. Become more objective. Oh, yeah. Like this artwork. Who was the artist again? Jake. Sorry, I have to look again. Jake Badley. I want to find him on social media. I feel like if he has got like an Instagram or something, I totally want to follow it, because this is really beautifully done. And it's very otherworldly in a way that gets you away from trying to... I think this was ultimately my thing with Ina Segal's other deck, is that maybe because it had that more photographic style of artwork, that really sort of photorealistic in a way, it was hard not to see them as people as opposed to seeing it as art. Does that make sense? I mean, they're both valid forms of art. I feel like I'm putting my foot in it. But I guess because this has that otherworldly, almost dreamlike quality to it, it's easier to put yourself into the imagery, to sort of sink into it in a different way. Break addiction. Oh, I love this so much. Like this conscious choice that even though she's really feeling beaten down and like she's been fighting the good fight, there's this tiny little moment of strength and this phoenix rebirth happening such a potent image. Contemplate death and beyond. You know, there's this saying, memento mori, live, something about live as if you know you are dying, or live because you're dying, or something along those lines. That's what this makes me think of, like this idea of don't be afraid to face the things you're afraid of, because it will change the quality of how you live your life. It's also a very Hierophant-y image, energy to this card, by the way. Create boundaries. Yes. Oh my God. These titles are so good. Like, I do a lot of self-worth based reading for clients as well. So this is just an amazing deck to pull into that. Oh, I love this so much. Create boundaries. Oh, I love this. Okay. Sorry. I'm just really excited. Develop stronger concentration. So this is very much about focus, working on one thing at a time, giving yourself permission to dive deep, as opposed to spreading yourself too thin. Love that. Embrace meditation. Super helpful and useful to pull in elements of mindfulness or meditation to your practice when you're doing healing work. Ennoble your soul. This looks like a playing card. This is so cool. So it says angels, and then when you reverse it, it says devils. This is really a neat image, and I'm excited to see what the guidebook says. And that's the other thing. This artwork is making me curious. Like, what is being depicted here? What is the intention? Oh, examine your integrity. Who's pulling your strings? Are you somebody else's puppet? Oh, so good. Very shadow work, but in a very, it's a very confronting deck, and yet it feels like it's also nurturing at the same time. Like, it's going to kick your butt, right? But it's also going to like hold your hand. And some of my favorite decks have this kind of energy. Experience rebirth. Yes. Explore your ancestry. Here again, we have this almost marionette idea of like, how are you connected to your past, and how has that played upon your future or your present? Like, a lot of times we don't always recognize the patterns and the ways that they influence our behavior. And I just think that's super important. Focus on higher truths. Love that. Love, love, love. Ground yourself. Yes. It's a no. Love it. And it's a yes. Okay, I love this. I love it when decks have no and yes cards. I think that's fantastic, because often we are asking questions that could be answered with a yes or no. Love, love, love. And you can even see by the body language that this is a no and this is a yes. And you could dive into that deeper. Like, why is it a yes? It's because it's how it makes you feel. Why is it a no? Because it's how it makes you feel. I mean, there's just, learn from karma. This speaks to my spiritual worldview very effectively. Listen to your guardian angel. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. Listen to your intuition. And isn't this interesting? Because if you struggled with either of these concepts, you theoretically could pull one of them out of the deck. If guardian angels don't speak to you, or the idea of spirit guides doesn't speak to you, you could literally pull this out of the deck and have what I assume is a similar concept or a similar message here with listen to your intuition. Love it. Love your body. Oh, well, we're done. We're done. All done. You guys, this is checking so many of my boxes. Oh. And what I love about this is it's not just about it makes it very clear with the artwork that this is not just about the outward physical appearance of one's body, which is not the only place that we deal with body acceptance issues, right? We deal with body acceptance struggles with how our body is functioning, and with this peekaboo into the bones of this person. And it makes me think, especially because this is this figure's left leg, it makes me think of Peggy and her misaligned knee. And that was not something she asked for. That was a birth defect. And yet that's something that has created a whole lot of challenges around body acceptance for her, stuff that she navigated when she was very young. So it's like, we're not dealing with body acceptance just in the area of appearance. And that's something, again, that I'm very passionate about. And this deck and me are going to be buddies. Minimize guilt. Powerful message here. Practice positivity. Yes. Recognize divine timing. Look at this faith here. She's stepping forward despite having no ground beneath her, because she knows the time is right to take that leap of faith, to recognize that this is the time, to know it and to move with it when it happens. Release fear. I would argue we embrace and befriend fear more than we fully release it, because we're always going to be afraid in some way, right? We learn how to move with the fear, how to dance with it in a way. So I'm interested to see what the guidebook has to say about that, but it's still a very powerful part of healing work. Relieve anxiety. Again, this could be tricky. So I'm curious to see how the guidebook dives into that. Relinquish control. Yes, yes, yes. This is such a huge piece for a lot of us in our self-worth work, is recognizing what we do and don't have control of. And those of us that have struggled with our self-worth, or who have felt in some way challenged in that way, we know that it is so tempting to want to control our environment to allow us to feel safer or to allow us to feel worthy. And this is such a critical part of the work. Reverse disassociation. Oh my gosh, this is not afraid to dive into the shadows in the corners at all. Show self-respect. Soul Invictus. Oh man, somebody's going to look at this and know what that means, and I wish I did. I know I've seen it before, I just can't place it. Step into the unknown. This is so beautiful, and it's similar but different to the divine timing card we just saw. Yeah, recognize divine timing, but both have a similar sort of freedom feeling to them, don't they? Yeah, so cool. Okay. I've probably just gotten my cards out of order, but it won't matter because I'll be shuffling them. Stop breaking agreements. And a lot of times this is actually agreements with yourself. Like, you have a commitment to self-care, but as soon as life gets hard, you throw yourself and your own needs out the window. To me, that's the first thing that makes me think of. Somebody else might see it in a different light, but that's really powerful. Take positive action. Yes. Temper your criticism. Yes. Watching when we're being judgy of ourselves, of other people. All of that is a reflection of shadow. Transform anger. Don't deny the anger, but let it transmute. Oh, love that. Why one landscape card? Why? I mean, this is a beautiful image, so I'm not going to be too mad at it. And there's only one of them. Unlock your heart. I love the playfulness here and the call to that sort of innocence and sort of inner child energy. It works. I wish it wasn't landscape, but I also get it with this very wide image, and it is a beautiful image. So, and you have support. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, let's zoom out. Not a single card did I hate. That sounded really dramatic. Not a single card did I even really dislike. I think they're all really beautifully illustrated. They hit me right in the feels for every single one. Beautiful cardstock. It is glossy. I think in this, it really works. Like, look at these like super thin parchmenty borders, right? There is going to be reflect. As somebody who videos my readings and photographs cards and videos cards a lot, I really prefer matte cardstock, but I also, as somebody who actually uses cards, there's something about a really glossy card that I sometimes just genuinely really enjoy. It makes them feel sometimes very premium. So does matte cardstock. I mean, there's a place for everything. I don't know. I love everything. What can I say? All right. We're going to take a look at the guidebook. I just want to shuffle and put one card on top so we can dive deep into one card at least. So what did we get? Develop stronger concentration. So we're going to put that to the side. We're going to take a look at the guidebook, which I'm very excited about. And then we'll take a look at that specific card for more detail. So, mystical healing reading cards. So we have an introduction. I wonder if she references her other deck. No, I don't see it. That doesn't mean it's not there. So then it's how to use the cards. 1 card, 3 or 4 card. There's a pendulum information on how to work with pendulum here. There's a 4-card reading that's illustrated for you. Choice, a 6-card spread. Oh, look at all these different spreads. Taking the next step, which is a spread. So that's cool. And then look at this. Like, Rockpool does such a great job. And I'm really excited to say that this is a very similar format to Ina Segal's other deck, the Heal Yourself reading cards, only it reminds me very similar of the format. So you had a title at the top that matches the card, like Access Clear Thinking, and then there's a small subtitle, and this was the same if I remember correctly on the Heal Yourself reading cards. And then in the action section here, you have an actual tangible activity that you can do. I am a huge fan of this kind of format for anything sort of self-helpy or meant for personal growth or healing. Again, this is something similar to what I did in my own book. I have, the section, and then I always have some journal prompts and some actions that you can take to practice what it is that you're learning. And I think that's so important when you're doing healing work, to really put things into practice, to actually use what you're absorbing, to actually put it into play. I think is so important. So anyways, I feel like I'm really gushing, but this is just so synergistic with what I've also created that I'm just getting really excited. Okay, so let's take a look at develop stronger concentration. What's the subtitle? Become more detailed and effective in all that you do. Acute concentration enables you to think in a cohesive, harmonious way. By learning to deepen your concentration, you will be able to delve into a more profound understanding of life, make better decisions, and effectively work with life-changing healing and spiritual processes. As long as your attention is dispersed on the outside world, you are not refining your inner self. Agreed. Correct concentration removes nervousness and fear and helps you to focus your attention on what enriches and enlivens you. Improving your ability to concentrate also awakens your imagination and ability to visualize and is a powerful step to developing your intuition. The more you concentrate, the more you start to identify the small details that make all the difference in every area of life. Excellent concentration also allows you to become extraordinary in any field of study and to dramatically improve your memory. All true. Action. Go for a 15-minute walk. Be present and observe everything you see. Focus on even the smallest details. Then try to recall what you saw with as much description as possible. You can also do concentration exercises throughout your workday. Become aware of people you work with. Really look at what they are wearing, what they are saying, how they talk, walk, etc. Then close your eyes and recall what you noticed. In particular, remember people's names and what they shared with you. So tangible advice to develop and build your concentration. So useful. Freaking love this. About the author, so a little bit about Ina. Yeah, so here it's mentioned. She's the award-winning best-selling author of The Secret Language of Your Body, The Essential Guide to Health and Wellness, The Secret of Life Wellness, The Essential Guide to Life's Big Questions, The Secret Language of Color Cards, ooh, I might need to look those up, and Heal Yourself Reading Cards. Ina has also created a variety of helpful healing audios. And then there's some acknowledgments in the back as well. And this is what the Heal Yourself reading cards looked like. So you can get a feel for that. It was a much more, like I said, photorealistic style of art. So a very different art style. But the content of that deck is just as juicy and good as the content of this deck was. Again, the only reason I ended up rehoming that deck was because the artwork for me was a distraction. I really, really prefer this artwork. I think it's really full of depth and lovely. Oh, I wanted to look up this Devils and Angels card. Let's do that really quick. The Ennoble Your Soul. So this was card 10. What does it say here? It's time for you to embrace a higher level of responsibility for your actions. Oh, so it's not the devil on your shoulder or the angel on your shoulder. You're responsible. You guys, this is not one to sleep on. Honestly, I am really, really impressed and excited. I think what I'm going to do for my fan, because, well, nah, that's cool. I'm going to fan it the normal way. I really think this is very worth your money. I will have a link to it down below. As always, my Amazon links are affiliate links, and I may also put links to other sources where you can get it as well, depending on what I have available or have the time to pull up for you. But again, thank you to Rockpool for sending me this deck for review. This is beautiful. I'm so excited to have it. It's going to play very well with my own book and my own self-worth work and shadow work. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, you guys, please let me know what you think of this deck. If you have it or if you want to pick it up, I'm always interested to hear how you are responding to the decks that I'm sharing with you. So please be sure and share that down below. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed the walkthrough. Subscribe if you're new here so that you see my videos in your feed. I do lots of fun things here, lots of walkthroughs, at least one a week, as well as self-worth content, magical and witchy content, and lots of other tarot-related content. Be sure and hit the bell so that you are notified of all my future videos and live streams. And if you would like to book a reading, you can always do that with me over at supportivetarot.com. Thank you so much, and may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, guys.